Hey everybody out there. I'm pretty sure you're wondering what I have to say, what I'm going to talk about, what today's show is going to be about. Make sure you stay tuned because today we got a real heated conversation. Everybody out there, what's good? What's going on? I am your host, Dr. Prescribe, and today we have today's show. I am going to give the audience some time to allow them to get in the building. This is today's show is one that I think is very important. I think is one that a lot of young black and young white and young Hispanic Americans should should be viewing. We're gonna let some more viewers get in the building. See? Let me see if I could toss that in there real quick. What's good, everybody in the building? Okay, okay. I just trying to see how things is looking out here in the real world. All right, I'm just gonna let a few more people get in the building, and we're gonna get into today's show. The title of today's show is "We Don't Need Black History Month." Why is it that I would come up with a title like that? Why is it that I'm sorry, you guys, a little technical difficulty. People, we are currently live. This show will start. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, guys, you got to pardon me for the delay and everything that just currently happened. You know how it is out here for a guy like me. Um, Hopefully, we'll get some viewers back in the building, and we'll get everything situated as far as the technical difficulty. You guys have to give me a moment. It is difficult for me. We're just starting this. We're just starting out the software. I'm just learning this, and I am not perfect at all. But today's topic, today's discussion. We don't need Black History Month. I'm gonna need to take me a sip of water for this. Okay, well, for those that are inquiring why I chose to do this show, I chose to do this show because this is important for all Americans. Not only does the content uh, cause debate, but it also causes you to actually reason. Okay, so let me get into it without further ado. So, at first, before there was a Black History Month, let me refer to my notes just to make sure that I'm right and I'm not looking back the whole entire time. So, first there was Black History Week, and that started in 1926. and it was to honor Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass and other black slaves that forfeited freedom. And then in 1970, the Black United um, st- st- students, the Black United students at Kent State University then started Black History Month, and it started at Kent State University. Started in 1970. Now, when Ford became president due to Nixon's corruption in 1976, he recognized it. He recognized Black History Month. And at this point in time, African Americans felt as if they actually struck a blow and they won something for the black cause. And I'm gonna break down to you every reason why this is completely absurd. Okay? And I'm gonna show to you why the whole idea was perverted and then changed by liberals and globalists to actually miseducate all Americans. Trust me, there's a method to this. There's a method to this madness. So, see, the thing about it is you have to do the diligent research. You have to educate yourself, on the subjects. And even when you know these things, it's best to always refresh yourself on the topics. Okay, so now this is 1976, but in 1976, guess what? A new candidate emerged. His name was Jimmy Carter, and he was a Democratic presidential candidate for president of the United States of America. Jimmy Carter won in 1977. And in 1979, he signed into office. He signed into act the Department of Education, the Department of Education organization. This is a presidential act in which he signed into place. And this act created the Department of Education and Department of Human Resources and Health. People. Now, when these two bills came about, Republicans fought against it in the Senate and the House. Republicans said that introducing such a department would infringe upon citizens' rights and is unconstitutional. And let me tell you how the globalists used globalist language and talk during this time of 1978 and 1979 to 1980. The globalists used the globalist agenda, and how they circumvented this assembly of true Americans was they said that it's constitutional based on the contingency of tax code and spending, i.e. straw man's law. We'll get into that in another show. Today, I'm going to just simplify things for you, okay? And basically, this simplified straw man's law, it means that the United States is just a corporation, and your birth certificate is a bond used, and it's used against you in order for them to procure money and debts from other nations. So we'll get into that at some point. But right now, we're going to stick to this. Okay? Now, this is how the Democrats won, and they actually got this into place, because their argument with the courts was that it's constitutional based on the contingency that it's due to tax code and spending. So now they enact the Department of Education. The Department of Education became active in, let me see. The Department of Education became active in 1980, May 4th, 1980. This is when the Department of Education actually came into effect. And at this time, citizens all over the nation were then forced to bring their children to school and have their children registered. First active registration into a communist society and or a socialist society is to have all people accounted for. Why are they accounting for these people? They're accounting for the children in a home that they're acquiring through the censuses. And they want to know how many children is there because they need to know how many people they need to brainwash. I said it. You're always going to hear the truth. See, this is the thing. They do the census to find out how many children are in the home, and then they know how many children are in your home. And when you don't send them to school, the authorities will come to your home, and then you will have ACS at your home, and they will then start doing an inspection, and they will then try to arrest you or bring other charges on you or remove the child from your custody so they can put him in someone else's custody that will sit them there for all those hours so they can be indoctrinated and brainwashed. The children are given a curriculum, and the curriculum is set all across the board the same. The thing is, every child is an individual. And when they find a child in a room and they call it disruptive, whereas the child is just being a child, being imaginative, wanting to draw, paint, or ask other questions off topic because they have other ideas as well and they need answers. These children are then medicated and sat down so they too can sit down and be silenced and continue to be brainwashed. Why is it that we don't need Black History Month? Because Black History Month, do the Democrats, because Jimmy Carter was a Democrat, okay? The Department of Education was set and founded by Democrats, and the curriculum was set forth to make sure that they brainwashed all Americans to continue this globalist agenda. Why is it that Black History Month is a smack in the face to African Americans? Because every month you get the right to celebrate the first black who played baseball, the first black who became a heavyweight champion. These are sports. These are social activities. See, this is the thing I keep trying to explain to you. That whenever the Democrats have ever given you anything, it is immaterial, meaning you have access to things that other people have access to. It doesn't grant you the actual rights that you have been afforded. You have to wake up, people. You sit there and you celebrate people who are singers like Michael Jackson or blacks who made the most money. And what other race can you name that will tell you that they are proud because of how much money someone in their race made? No one. No other race celebrates any individuals throughout history in their race, and they celebrate them because of their riches. No, they celebrate them because of changes they made to impact the world and all humanity itself. Whether it's derogatory or positive, it doesn't matter. But never is anyone celebrated for their riches, because if that's the case, Solomon, the biblical tell of Solomon, if he actually did exist, to this day, we would still be talking about him and revering him a lot more than it would be considered folklore. Trust me. See, the thing is, Black History Month is a tool used to continuously miseducate blacks. Because the whole time you feel like you've won because they're giving you a month, but throughout the whole entire year, the rest of the year, minus those 28 days, they're learning history without you in it. The history of America is one that is entrenched in hatred, bloodshed, and love, and ideals. The sad thing is, at some point in time, many wrong men perversed the idea that it originally existed, and some of our founding fathers too. But the thing is, in order for us to be a great nation, we have to own up to the ugly past that we had. That way, we're able to fix it. It makes no sense to hide it. It makes no sense to cover it up. It says that we are better than we was before, and we're no longer the country that we once was. But if we continue to hide the things that we once did, then that just means that we're not prepared to be different at all. See, whenever you go to school, there's a Black History Month, and on the wall you'll see Thurgood Marshall, you'll see Harriet Tubman, you'll see Muhammad Ali, you'll see Martin Luther King, you'll see George Washington Carver, you'll see the regular go-to people, but you won't see people like Benjamin Banneker, the man who invented the almanac, the farmer's almanac, the one that's used today that tells farmers how the seasons will change and how they can adjust their crops. They don't tell you about Benjamin Banneker, the man that created Washington, D.C., because the original surveyor of the land, the Frenchman that came, became upset and he left. And when he left, the man that remembered all of the plans, that had a photographic memory, was Benjamin Banneker. And he created Washington, D.C. That's why there's a big clock right now in London. It's called Big Ben. It's an honor to Benjamin Banneker, the man who invented the wall clock. The reason why blacks are outside killing themselves, and the reason why blacks are outside hateful amongst whites, are because they are miseducated. They're not included in the great things that they did to this nation. They're only subject to females who invented hot combs or people who produced peanut butter. And this is no slight against these individuals, but for the woman that have to invent a hot comb, it means that socially and subconsciously, she was already brainwashed and she was already disenfranchised from who she was and proud of her ethnicity. This is the truth, people. They don't inform to you in these books that you read when you get your education that the things that you are reading have a lot of black involvement in it. Like the light bulb, the filament that was inside came from a black person. History will lead you to believe that it was just the kite and the key. And that's how it was invented. But no one will tell you the actual truth. No one will tell you the actual truth, because if they do educate you on just how great black Americans was to this country and how hard they fought and died for this country, you would never agree to allow people to come over here illegally and take everything you have. You would never be outside killing yourselves religiously as if somehow there's a better party in the afterlife than it is here, raising your children and being responsible and taking care of your loved ones. When you're miseducated, it's hard for you to find reason in yourself and within others, because all you have is emotion and you have nothing to base it on except the events in which is put in front of you. Because you're uneducated, you lack the tools to deal with the things that is placed in front of you. So the things you normally do are things that are out of impulse and not out of education. The Black History Month is something that should be removed from the school curriculum, and if anything, it should just be a month as a holiday, or a day that's a holiday where Americans can actually take that day off, like President's Day. So it should just be one day, Black American Day, if you want to give blacks anything. I personally don't feel like you should do that shit at all. What you should do, and excuse my language because I tried to not to use any curse words this whole entire show, and it's just hard for me not to use that word, but what you should do is actually include black Americans in the history books. So every time any American picks up a page of American history, they will see history of black Americans in it. They will be educated in the hard work that black Americans have placed in this country. And when young black males look at structures and buildings that's around here, they will look at them in awe, because they will realize a bunch of black Americans actually got the work done. In most cases, they will be discouraged to destroy such prominent figures, because as of seeing these obelisks and these things and these statues and these, they would then feel some sort of attachment to it, because they understood that so many blacks died for it to be created. Men sitting right here next to me right now in the picture. You see him? Right now in the picture, you see him. Men like him. They gave everything up so we could have a voice. They wasn't with a side that adjusted with global bankers. No. They was with the side that said less government, more protection of the people, and more responsibility in the hands of the citizens. Because a true free nation will only be a nation that is educated. Do you know where we rank in the world right now in education? It's not first. It's not second. It's not third. It's not 20th. People are not coming here for education. They're coming here for free things. Free healthcare, free education, so they can learn how to read and write. I just woke you up. But they're not coming here because the education will transform them so they can then go back to their countries and transform their countries. They're learning how to read and write so they can then come here and continue to circumvent the system. Black History Month is just another tool used to keep blacks blinded and fooled into believing that somehow the progress that they're receiving is actually change. Just because you're included into something doesn't mean you're actually a part of it. Sometimes you don't realize that you think you're part of the audience, but you don't realize that you are actually the show. These people are laughing at all poor Americans. This educational system that has been introduced and invented by these individuals is created to destroy all Americans. Every youth is reading the same thing. The same hate will be regurgitated. Everything that's spewed on the news that's supposed to be facts, which is only fiction and opinion, is being regurgitated to the kids, and the kids are developing opinions without even having the ability to learn how to find out facts. We often hear people do shows and tell you that they shouldn't be a Black History Month, and people get so offended, but no one can actually break down to you with reason why a Black History Month shouldn't exist. Jimmy Carter was a globalist. He accepted money from multinational corporations, including Walmart and other big banking firms, numerous, and received hundreds of thousands of dollars in speaking fees and speaking engagements on their behalf. He lived a very, very prosperous life well into his old age, and gave speaking engagements and continued his doctrine at his church Sunday school for children, where he further indoctrinated them into believing the garbage that he had all of America's believing when he first started. They used the whole idea of running out of a small trailer home or something like that, and everything that they did was geared towards getting Americans like you and me to vote for him, because he was supposed to have been the guy that was like us. But he wasn't. He was the guy that was selling us out. Black Americans, blacks, period, are killing themselves at a high rate because they have no clue of their importance to this nation, and they have no clue about how strong they can help make this nation if they only include themselves in the things that were given to them by birth. You're not responsible for the forefathers and the perverse idea of what a human is supposed to be, because long since it's been corrected. We can continue to talk about it, and that's cool. That's a subject we can always bring up. But currently, right now, it is 2010. We are here. And if we're going to be creative conservatives, then what we're going to have to do is tell our government they're going to have to be responsible and held accountable for any and all of their actions moving forward. We can't hold people accountable for things that happened 60 years ago unless they're currently still in office, which they shouldn't be. But what we can do is find out the facts, find out what was done wrong, and we can fix it so no nation can take anything that we have. So no one will feel afraid about being invaded by any nation, because technologically we will be introducing more Einsteins than anyone else. If we form an educational system that will force people to actually use their intellect and question and evoke ideas, this country will remain unstoppable. There are too many things feasible for your child right now to not be successful. The thing is, there are also 10 times more distractions. And parents need to be vigilant of it, because it starts at home first and it continues in the school system. The things that you regurgitate to your children at home are things that are harmful, because adult content shouldn't be spoken around children at all. It doesn't matter if you're in the comfort of your own home. Children should have children's bliss, meaning they should be oblivious to anything adults deal with, your bills and everything. You never sit your kid down and tell them they're going to have to get a job because this phone bill is this much and the rent is this much. You don't do it. The children get toys and they play. They are allowed to have the time and space to imagine, to create, to find their potential, to find a love or a need for something that will fulfill them in life. Yet and still, you sit them in front of televisions, you allow garbage to educate them, you spew miseducation to them, you find yourself on social media more than you find yourself taking them to the park, and then you leave them in a school where other individuals just like them are being left, and they're all being taught by the teacher that is doing the same thing you're doing when you're home. This is a mad mess. The health and the Department of Human and Resources and Health. Why the introduction of that? Well, it would sound good giving people free tests and so on and so forth, but since we know the government has given tons of blacks syphilis, I would bet against it, because at the same time, if you're getting any immunizations, there's a good chance you'd be getting something else. This department was created as a regulator. That way they can regulate the children being vaccinated, and they can keep track of what children aren't vaccinated, so they can then try to attempt to force you to do vaccinations on your children. But because we live in a country where the ideals of God and the right of being a human still exists, currently still exists, we can use conscientious disapproval, or we can say that we are religiously disapproving. The whole time Jimmy Carter was pushing this agenda, all Republicans was fighting against it, because they realized the implications. They realized that a school system that was set so all individuals would be learning the same thing at the same time, and no individuals would have adjusted education, meaning they would have, in particular, teachers taught to deal with and allow children to be children and still find time to educate them within the things that they love. They were given a broad scope of robotic ideas, and these ideas, you Carlos, you prevent your child. I'll get to it. I'll tell you. I'll tell you right now. You prevent your child from getting vaccinated because you tell them it's against your religion. Religious disapproval. The breakdown of the truth is important, because if I don't give it to you, then you'll say that I said things, but I didn't give you examples as of to why. This is no shot at Tariq. Y'all know who he is. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He is pro-black, and I am nothing wrong with being. I am nothing wrong with anyone being pro anything. Like, I'm not against anyone being pro-white. If there can be a black power, then it can be a white power. It's okay for people to believe that their ethnicity brings a powerful force to human nature and humankind, and as long as this power is produced in a positive manner, then I have no quarrels with it whatsoever. So, with that being said, when I view his movies, Hidden Colors, I see a great deal of information, but the information comes off as accusations, because there isn't much dates and or references that people can go and view for themselves, so they can receive the same kind of information that Tariq and others have. Although I know that there are prominent individuals that include themselves in these series, still, when it is edited without the ability of individuals fact checking and research. So then it becomes something of folklore. Then it becomes something of a perverse idea that blacks are just better than everyone. When it can just be an idea of, hey, look, you guys got a great history. We got a great history too. You know, we have a great history too, and it's just been messed up by a bunch of people, and a bunch of people has, have chosen to dilute our contribution, or remove it, and it's just as simple. It's as simple because the people that are around you that are celebrating their great heritage and history are being taught to celebrate their great heritage and history. And then others who do the diligent research to choose to celebrate their heritage and their history is someone who deserves the same respect. See, the thing is, education is supposed to include all the individuals that is ascertaining the information. And anyone feeling like they're excluded from the information is someone that is not actually receiving the information in which they should have in the first place. We doing good. Can I get a one in the building? If y'all feeling the pre-setup right now, can I get a one in the building, please? Could I see some ones in the building if y'all liking how everything's starting to look? If y'all starting to see the difference, can I please get a one in the building? Thank you, peoples. Appreciate it. Make sure you guys get in here and hit this like button. Make sure y'all hit that like button, please. Make sure y'all hit that like button. If y'all feeling that education, if y'all feeling the idea on having the actual school reformed and the Department of Education transformed and corrected, please let me know, people. Please. What? Will I wear a high powered suit come September? No, I'm not gonna wear a high powered suit come September. But I was thinking about getting some things. But honestly, I feel like if you go with that type of stuff, it'll create that energy. And I just don't look like the type of guy that doesn't matter what size you are. I just don't think that. And I'm 5'7", but I don't think that I come across as the type of guy that you just want to try. You understand? So, and I don't think that I'm gonna have that kind of energy around me. The idea is to capture what is happening and get video of that so me, Uber guy can do it and get a live show going where we'll be set up live outside and we'll have the show set up live outside and we'll have a camera facing us both and we'll have a camera possibly facing like the crowd and we'll be showing stuff and we'll just do a live show right then and there on the spot. I'll get them in, and we'll do, we know what we do and we'll take it to a whole different level, as far as our platforms are concerned, as far as the movements are concerned, as far as what we're trying to do. Also, I want to tell you guys, congratulations, because we are the owner of the domain name, thenewrightparty.com. Currently, we are the owners of it. And I am looking for any individual that knows how to set up a basic website. And you need to get with me. You need to text me at 347-623-9644. So we can talk about getting this set up because it's going to be crazy. We will be opening the store online, and we also will be opening up our voters registration union. Please remember, the voters registration union is a union that anyone can sign up to. It doesn't matter what political party you're signed up to. What this assures is that every voter will only consider the candidate that we as a majority feels is fit to be president of the United States of America, meaning an individual that guarantees that they will protect and preserve the Constitution of the United States of America, and they will always put Americans first. There are people on all sides of the aisle that understand how important this is and understand this is just not an ideal. This is something that we actually need. This is something that we need in order to survive. I just explained to my mom earlier, to my auntie mommy, how important it is to have United States of America. If you open the borders and you remove the United States from the hemisphere, you will start the end of the world as we know it. I know this sounds self-centered to everyone abroad, but I'm going to explain to you why. If they break apart the United States of America, then there will be no U.S. military. There will be no United States Armed Forces. There will be none of these things to protect the country because these things don't exist. So we'll have a bunch of defense equipment for sale. Countries like China and Russia will buy up all of the defenses that they can while people run around stupid and high off the idea that they believe that this is open and free place and land. And then after they procure all the weapons that they can, they will then have a war, possibly amongst themselves first. And if this war doesn't produce an outcome, then they will both decide to come and split the nation of the United States of America. You will not be safe. People abroad and people in other nations, such as Israel, such as Turkey, and I know you may not agree with the introduction of Israel. I certainly don't, but currently they are here now. So the citizens that are there deserve to live like every other citizen everywhere else. So with that being said, these individuals don't deserve to die. They don't deserve to die because people like you and me have funded their existence with our tax dollars, something we created. People like Japan will certainly be wiped off the planet. This is a complete island. So everything that they do is terraforming, meaning they cut into the island to get farming, but mostly it's import and export. They're large for their manufacturing plants, but also it's hard for individuals currently to live there because of the Fukushima poisoning. I know, I know, I know. See, the thing is, realistically, if you take away the United States of America, other nations that have nuclear arms and destructive arms can then come and relieve the citizens of everything that they have and enslave them. You're asking for something that you can have because you can just pick up and leave. People denounce their citizenship every day, I promise you. If you want to become a socialist, I'm not against it. I encourage you to do so, and I encourage your beliefs. But I encourage you to take it to a socialist country that already exists. Because they already exist. They already exist. There's no need to fight a majority and be a minority when you can go somewhere where you can be the majority and be happy in the things that you are asking for. Just go. You want to be a communist, you can. There are communist countries you can go to. You can go to Cuba, fun in the sun. You can go to China, work hard and abroad, or you can go to Russia where it get cold and it's bold. Either way, shape, or form, you can find yourself at these countries. You can go there. Denounce your citizenship, they'll take you. Possibly. Maybe. Maybe not. But maybe. Let's put some power on this Mizak. There we go. I love to see my chat like this. I love to see the people in the building like this. See, the thing about Black History Month is for 1 month, you're giving the same individuals to celebrate, and although they may have had some social contribution to society in America, they're not showing you people that has had a great substantial contribution in society. You do not read about these individuals in books. Currently, still, I believe you can view Nat Turner's skin, which was turned into a purse. Do you know who did this? It wasn't Republicans. No, sir. For all blacks that have seen the movie Birth of a Nation, I encourage you to see the movie Death of a Nation. I also encourage you to see the movie Clinton Cash. I also encourage you to see Dark Legacy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. I don't believe that there's a greater idea by all in the government to. I do believe that there is a conspiracy, though. I will break it down to you. But I don't believe that there's that every individual in government is conspiring to sell out the government in the United States. I believe there are a lot of people that are there that are still trying to fight for us. But I do believe that the majority, if not most politicians, 90% of them, are all conspiring to continuously hide the ugly truths that plague America and which currently causes the conditions we have now. This is the reason why things like slavery currently exist. The movies are Dark Legacy, Dark Legacy, Clinton Cash, Death of a Nation. You can still see Death of a Nation in selected movie theaters. I went and I saw it twice. I encourage you to go see it. It's very, very important that you do. The Freemasons lodge is not a lodge of full conspirators that are conspiring to destroy the the world. And I shouldn't be disclosing this information to you, but I can tell you this much about Masons. The introduction of the Masons came due to the Catholic Church. They initially started as the Knights of Templar. When given the task of finding the Holy Grail, they then found out the truth about religion and then where it was invented, and they brought artifacts back. These artifacts then gave the Knights of Templar information and power over the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church allowed them to invent a bank. When they seen that the bank then had more power than the church, the Catholic Church then started the Inquisition, where they started to destroy and kill the Knights of Templar. They started to kill them off, and the secrets that the Knights of Templar held quiet into themselves are given to Masons in degrees. These degrees are the secrets that are given to the Masons, and in which the rituals they tell you are satanic are not satanic. They're actually rituals that depict how other members died hiding and keeping the secret safe. So there is a perverse version of it, and it was introduced by Adam Weishaupt, and he was an Illuminist, and he was a free thinker, but he also introduced different ideals. It wasn't until the Freemason Lodge became known in the United States and taken over by Albert Pike that it then became a lodge used and a tool used for globalists. Real quick breakdown. I got the truth here, y'all. I'm just saying, like I be waiting for people to go in the comments and ask me questions so I can just give you questions. I mean, so I can give you the answer. I dare someone to refute what I just said too. I dare you. I dare you to refute it. Find why I'm wrong. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know, and I'll tell you I'll do some research on it and I'll get back to you so I can compare a statement and or argument. But if I bring up something in topic, please believe I'm well versed on the subject. But now you're understanding the breakdown. Adam Weishaupt only invented the idea of free thought and people that have the free ability to think without believing in what the church sought. And that was held secret in the temples. But it wasn't until Albert Pike got his hands on the Masonic lodges and he transformed them into what we know as today. Columbus Day. Religion started in the first monotheistic religion started in Kemet, which is now called Africa, and which is now called Egypt. And the first religion started through the Sumerians. That's to Greece. Someone else asked me a question. Have to? Why do we still have Columbus Day? We still have Columbus Day because these are manufactured, miseducational lies used in order to continue to keep you miseducated on the facts about how the nation was founded and how people were brought here. If they continue to produce their perverse idea to you that Christopher Columbus discovered America, then you'll never understand that blacks were already here already. Currently, right now in the Grand Canyon, there is Egyptian hieroglyphics. And these did not just find themselves there, they existed around the time of the Great Pyramids, meaning that they were traveled by uh, Chemedians at the time, or Egyptians at the time. They are currently being destroyed and or removed, but there's still ancient artifacts there that show that they were precisely cut, almost like laser. They were laser precision cut, uh, 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 precisely, and it shows that they definitely had involvement there. And also, during the time when the founding of this country, before there was an America, there were 9 individuals, and this was a federation, and there were free black men here, and some consider them presidents, but they weren't. They were actually just other elected officials. At the time, there was no one person that ran the country. There was just an elected group of individuals. This is the reason why Republicans then had more, I believe, 16 senators, years, 30 years, 50 years, it could be, before Democrats did. But back to the subject. Blacks was already in this country. They already had land. There was a black slave owner, and he had all of almost Florida. And when Washington first came into office, he enacted the Census Act. And then after they gained all the citizens' information and address and land, and they got their races and colors. This is the reason why it was removed from current census, because people knew what it entailed, because it happened prior before. What they did was, once they enacted slavery and made it legal, they then went and procured all blacks from their properties and then put them into slavery. It wasn't until years after the founding fathers founded the nation that people in the North actually realized what was wrong and done with it, because initially all the states had legalized slavery. Don't leave 1142 in there. Don't nobody question them. That's somebody you let them troll. I told you I appreciate the views as long as they're tuned in, and that's what matters. That means that I'm effective and that the things that I'm doing is actually working. I seen what he said. He called me a nigga. Let him say it though. That's how you feel. Let him say it. Don't block his chats, moderators. As long as he's not saying it to me, yeah. As long as he's not saying it to you, it's cool. But if he's calling me a nigga, it's cool. It's whatever. He's somebody who's on a computer who's far, far away. And if you allow anyone to make you upset because of things that they say, then you yourself will find yourself an irrational person. And that's not what we're here for. I'm not here to engage in anyone's race baiting, identity politics, or games. I'm not going to let anyone circumvent this message. This here will remain here, and while it's being a lot produced, it's also being recorded, and you will also find me on Twitch. All you got to do is go into Twitch and type in this in small case letters. Where you will find all of the shows re-aired. You type it in lowercase letters in Twitch. Find me on Twitch. That's what we do, people. It's easy. Go on Twitch. Type it in. Find me. See past videos. I'm up there. I will definitely make sure that we continuously take this channel to the next level. I promise you, everything to come will be something totally different. And I will remain the guy that brings you the content that you want to hear, simplified the way you want to hear it. You know what time it is. I gotta educate some mofos. Of course, Bug. I mean, we had a show dedicated to Planned Parenthood. It's called Woman's Right to Kill. You can definitely go back in the show's description once the show's over and view some of that. And I'll break down the introduction of Planned Parenthood from its inception, which it was first named as eugenics. There should be some links in there to some things that you should see. I believe that it is, so you should check that out. I know sometimes I say that I'm going to, but I get pretty busy and wrapped up, and I'm not able to. But I'm quite certain that in this case, it's there if you look. So you can go ahead and look. Everyone can support Donald Trump, even if they're racist. Doesn't matter. That's the point of being free and being in a country. And the thing about being a racist is you would need to be a part of an agenda. And in most cases, people are indirectly and they don't realize it, whether they're white or black. But it only affects the people that aren't armed against its effect. So if you're armed against it, you're educated against it, then you won't find yourself subject to the things that they find themselves always introducing to individuals. That's what Margaret Sanger said. I believe I cover these things inside the Woman's Right to Kill show. Let's stay on topic, people. Let's stay on topic. Let's stay on topic about Black History Month and the Department of Education. We are here for a little while longer. Hopefully, we will have soon enough. We will have the donation bar and everything up here, and we'll have a chat going. And if YouTube doesn't release the super chat, then I will introduce another chat for us. Quick, um, real quick. If you're watching this and you do YouTube, you know what this is. You know what this is. You know I'm not playing. We do. We definitely need history, real history taught. We need to have real history taught that way. People of all ethnic groups respect each other's contributions and gains and losses, and allowing us to even have the nation that we have right now. They are, Granny. I'm telling you, the schools in California are horrible. I've been there, I've seen it, but some of them are good in aesthetics, meaning when you look at them, they're great to look at, and there is some technological differences in them. But as far as the curriculum is concerned, it's very, very poor, and they allow people who shouldn't be passed and ahead, instead of allowing these individuals to actually have the attention and education that they really need. What's the jokes about? If we cannot have a dream, if we all get along. I have some lag on this end, on my end, y'all. I have some lag on my end. Let me try to check this out. What did somebody say? Give us some famous quote. Give us some famous quotes. Give us some famous quotes by famous blacks. Is that like a test to see if I know quotes by famous blacks? Our mistreatment, our mistreatment was just not right, and I was tired of it. Rosa Parks. Injustice everywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Martin Luther King. If you're walking down the right path and you're willing to keep walking, eventually you'll make progress. That was Barack Obama. Even though I don't agree with him, but I still thought that was something that was uh, passionate when he said it. How far you go in life depends on your being tender to our young, compassionate to the old, sympathetic and striving, and tolerant of the weak and strong. Because someday in your life, you will have to be all of these. George Washington Carver. And I thought that that was something that was really important because basically, when you look at life, it kind of breaks down how it kind of breaks down how you it kind of breaks down how you go through life. Like you have to, be mindful of the strong and weak. You got to respect them. I just thought that everything that was just there in those, and in that was something that I always thought was true. I think y'all be trying to try me in here though. Don't try me in here though. Don't try me in here though, man. I got this. What are your thoughts on LeBron James? Will he ever get off the plantation and wake up? Um, I think that LeBron James is a phenomenal basketball player, and he will go down in history as one of the best to play the game. But he won't go down as the best ever because that belongs to Michael Jordan. That will always belong to Michael Jordan. This hat is green. It's coming off black in this camera. I don't know why, but it's definitely green. It's definitely emerald green too. I don't know if you can, but whatever. Match this sneakers. But I think that with LeBron James, I believe that he's already bought and sponsored, paid for mouthpiece, and that is something that he already is. I don't think that that's something that he's going to take away, or he's going to say I give up on, because the moment that he does, then they'll decide to ruin him, and they'll find something that they can ruin him about. Hopefully, he doesn't have any dirt, but if he does and they know about it, then it's something that they can hold over him. So you really never know. Can he? It's a possibility. It's a possibility for anybody, even that has a bunch of dirt on them. Look at Andy Quaid. Yeah, he was a Hollywood actor. He came out and started exposing everybody. He lost everything. Was on the run. So you got to really just, some people, look at me. Some people just feel like, F it. Like, it's whatever. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Somebody asked me before why I wasn't ready for kids and why I feel I'm ready now. And the reason why is before I honestly didn't feel like the world was a place I wanted to bring a kid into because it's so dangerous. There's so many people here that are so perverse. There's so many things that's messed up. But now that I know I've stepped up, now that I know that I'm willing to die to be, to get the word out there, to get the truth out there, and to be able to explain it to people, to everybody, so they can understand it, I'm willing to die for it. I want to leave that legacy behind. If that's what it is, then that's what it is. So you have to be prepared. And when people find the courage to be prepared and they prepare themselves, then that's where it starts. These people are paid for. They're compromised. Anybody else got any questions they want to ask me? Anything on education? Anything on education reform? Anybody want to ask me any ideas on education reform? Anyone new to the chat that missed the open monologue? Do you want to ask me about it? Okay, we're reaching 1:30. We're about to get to the tail end of the show where I will be taking in calls. You can call via Skype, um, or you can let me get out the stuff first before we go to a quick break. We're about to take a quick 30-second break, so you guys don't go nowhere. Make sure you stay there. You'll see the quick introduction, so I can restart and have everything set up and all over again. Let me see. Let me get Skype up right now. Let me get Skype up. Oh, Skype is opening, y'all. Hold on, let me just get everything situated. And I'm going to be taking calls in via Skype. And or by phone. Let me get Skype up real quick, you guys. Just give me a minute. Let me tell you what, you know what? I'm not going to do Skype. I'm going to do the live in calls. So I'm going to have you guys call in right after this break. And I'm going to let you guys talk about your ideas on education. And I'm going to let you guys watch this quick commercial real quick. And I'm going to set up the call so you guys can get the calling in. All right? Give me a second, y'all. Okay, I believe we are live back on the air. Let me make sure we are live back on the air. Just want to make sure. Okay, so let me put the number in the chat right now. Oh shit. Not this number. Not that number. That number is not the fucking number. I'm sorry. I keep putting in the wrong number when I put up the show number. That's the number, y'all. You can call up live to the show. Pardon me. The other number wasn't the actual number. That was the old number that I initially had when I first started the program, and I learned them fast. So I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying not to curse. I think I maybe said 2 curses this show. So hopefully I'll work on it. That way we can get a larger audience, and I'm able to affect a lot more individuals, and people can actually say maybe their children can watch because I'm not using profanity. So I will try to not do so, but I will still Rick James a couch or two here and there. We got the number live, y'all. Anyone want to call up? I can now. Before 1 o'clock. Before 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Peace, Reese. No one wants to call up. No one has anything they want to call up and talk about. I'm gonna have a few more minutes to this open, and then after that we're gonna close up. And the thing about these phobias is whenever you're homophobic, that means you are afraid of homos. It doesn't mean you're intolerant of them. Whenever you have a transgender phobia, that means that you are afraid of transgenders. If I had arachnophobia, that means I would be afraid of tarantulas. If I had Islamophobia, that means I would be afraid of Muslims. So these people are just funny. That could be truth, the real truth. It could be true. Uh, I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. I want to thank all my moderators. I want to thank everyone that checked the stream, everyone that is taking the time to view the show after. I want to thank everyone that is donating to the PayPal and everyone that's donating to the GoFundMe. Currently, the links are still below. You can still go below and donate. These donations will help me get to the Mother of All rally September 8th. I am definitely trying to make sure that I am in the building and there, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm there giving you the greatest live show ever produced and also the greatest footage afterwards. I want to thank Michelle. I want to thank Annie. I want to thank Roselle. I want to thank Activist Granny. I want to thank The Real Truth, Gen V, Michelle Z, Bug 5353, the troll that came in today and called me a nigga. Um, I want to thank. Hold on, we got a call. Let me see. Hey, hello. You're live on the air right now with Dr. Prescribe. Hello. 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 I can't hear you. Hello. Hello. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
I was saying, so what's the topic of your show? Like, do we need Black History Month?
No, I kind of did a. The show was We Don't Need Black History Month, and I kind of broke down. Um, I kind of broke down the history of it, kinda quickly and briefly, and also briefly the reasons as to why it is counterproductive for all Americans, not only Black Americans. But if you have something to say against that, you can feel free to say it right now.
Well, I don't exactly what you said because I wasn't able to watch the video. I'm at work right now, so I wasn't able to watch the video. I just seen it. Then I kind of caught in kind of late, and I saw you was a second call. I was like, "Yes, man, I'll call up there." But you said, so you think that it's counterproductive to have Black History Month?
Yes, brother, I do. Let me explain to you why. Just real quick, a recap.
All right.
Okay, it's counterproductive because once a month they put up the 14 people, they always do, and then afterwards it's done. Whereas that's just pacifying Black Americans. That's pacifying all Americans. Where Black Americans' historical value and contribution to this country should just be placed in the books. So every day someone picks up a book on American history and government, they will see Black people involved. When people pick up these books, they will learn that Washington, D.C. was created by a Black man, by Benjamin Banneker. I broke down a lot of things to the nature of this, that the reason why Black History Month exists is because it's to pacify Black Americans from the real agenda, which is real education and them being included historically of their contributions, their sacrifices, everything into the actual educational books. And I broke down who started the educational system, which was Jimmy Carter, a Democrat, and his agenda, and I explained how the Republicans tried to fight against the Department of Education's introduction, and because it introduced the Department of Health and Human Resources, which forces children to get vaccinations. The Republicans were against it because they said that it's against the Constitution if you force people to get this kind of education. They should be able to educate their own kids or seek the schools that they want to go to. But instead, this was forced because the Democrats then used the globalist code, which was it's constitutional because of the tax and spending code. So they use the fact that the government has a straw man government attached to it, and they use that to allow them to introduce this school system and we currently have that has been currently just miseducating all Americans. So that's just the gist of everything I said. So if you have anything to argue against that, brother, if you can tell me I'm wrong on any front, let me know.
I mean, dog, you just said so much for me to take in right now. Like, there's no way I can just build up an argument.
You gotta watch the show, King. Listen, you go listen. You can watch the show and view the show. View it back. If there's anything that you feel like I was wrong in, yo, bro, you can call in tomorrow. I'll have another live call up, and you can call in and you can just tell me how you feel I'm wrong. But when you do the research of everything, you realize, even when you really just think about it, right, bro? If Black Americans, if we knew how much we built in this country, if we knew how much we contributed to this country, do you think that it would be a lot of brothers out here killing themselves and stuff? No, because then they would look at things and realize they're attached to a lot more things that are around them. But when you wake up and you Black in this country, you feel like don't nothing belong to you here. Like nothing here you had any kind of contribution to, because that's what the schools teach you, bro. It makes you mad. It's a continuous cycle, bro.
Well, that's probably why we should have a proper Black History Month.
Nah, we should just have Black History in the books. Deal. But go ahead.
Yeah, we should, but we can't force them to to do anything they don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was the whole purpose behind Black History Month. Just like niggas just weren't teaching it. Like they just didn't care. They weren't teaching it. They was misleading people. They weren't letting us know. Like they didn't want to give us that courage, that fire that we need inside of us to keep progressing. You know what I'm saying? Like if we hear all these great things about Black people, then we're gonna know that we can be strong, we can be powerful, we can have power around here.
You just broke down the reason why we need it in the schools every day and not once a month, bro. Every month that come for the 28 days for that 28 days. You know what they hit you with? They hit you with the first Blacks that played baseball. The first Black that played at Carnegie Hall. They don't show you the first Black that invented the wall clock. They don't show you. You understand? They don't show you the first. Yeah, they don't show you the first that invented the stop sign, the stop light, or the filament for the light bulb. They don't break that down to you. So the thing is, we have to make sure it's put in the books, because the books is what's taught to the generations, not the holidays. The holidays are removed from calendars all the time and placed in other places, and or just totally abolished. But what's put in the books remains information, and is taught, and it is taught to millions of people simultaneously every single day. So if your historical value is excluded from these books, no one will understand how great of a nation we can be, and how much we actually contributed to the nation that we currently have.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, then that's true. Then if you're saying like we shouldn't have a Black History Month, it just should be part of the
Nah, I
curriculum.
said we shouldn't.
Yeah,
I
that's
said if
true.
anything, they should give a black. I said they're gonna give Black History, then it should be a Black History Day, and it honors all of the slaves that fought for their freedom, and that's a day where it's a federal holiday and no one go to work. If you're gonna give
Oh,
anything,
okay.
then do that. But don't give me a month where you saying it's Black History and the only thing you teaching me about is Michael Jackson. You understand? Like, I don't want that. That's not. I don't need that. I need to read that every day. I should be able to pick up any book in America on American history and government and find a Black history in it.
Yeah, but it's not like that. So that's
Yeah, so the
I
whole
think
thing
that's
is we
why they
gotta
got
fight for the
Black History.
change. You gotta give up something to get something. What would you rather do? Continuously have a month of misinformation, or have the information in the books currently corrected?
Oh yeah, yeah. I rather have the information in the books and they just cover the information as it comes up on the schedule. I like because outside of February, we really don't learn no Black history. And even when we do learn Black history, well, when I was in high school, it was more like you just talking about the filament for the light bulb and just like the train engine and stuff like that. We had to go out and find that information on our own and bring it to our teacher like as a presentation. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't teaching us this shit. We had to go out on our own accord, find the information, build a project around one specific topic, and we would actually teach the class the information because it wasn't in the books.
And you know why that she did that? Because her ass ain't know. Because it wasn't taught to her in her curriculum. It wasn't taught to her when she was going to school to learn so she could educate others. This is the reason why you have to start holding all the individuals accountable. I broke it all down in the show, bro. Yo, I'm about to get off the air
I'm gonna
because we're
say,
getting close to closing time. Yo, I appreciate you for calling. Yo, call in
all
tomorrow.
right,
Check the show out. If you feel like I was wrong or anything, or I missed anything, you want me to add something, let me know. We could always revisit this.
all right, bet. Appreciate
Oh damn, I'm sorry, bro. I cut you off. He was about to say he appreciate the call, bro. I love you and for calling, man. I'm sorry that it just cut off your ass like that. Man, it kind of pauses like a little lag on this, and I'm trying to connect it. Just give me some time. Pardon me though for hanging up on you. I did not mean for that to happen, man. Really, I'm sorry, bro. Um, it's the iPhone 10, so it still has issues sometimes. You feel me? I'm sorry. And it's supposed to have been connected, but it didn't connect the computer like it was supposed to, but it didn't. So it's just like an issue. You got to give me a minute with that. But I want to thank all the moderators in the building. I want to thank my caller for just that just called. Um, I want to thank again. Shout out to everybody in the building. There's a lot of people in the building. Unique View, Michelle Z, Activist Granny, The Real Truth, David Jones, Dave Martin, uh, Michelle, Annie, Rizel, Reese. Shout out to everybody that was in the building. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Bug 5353. Education is not just an institutional responsibility. We all are responsible. Burden your conversations amongst each other. Culturalize your kids. You're absolutely right, and I love you for that comment, man. Thank you, bro. The real truth. I love you for remaining here. I love you for keeping me honest, and I love you for making sure that you always kick the truth when you in that chat, man. Cutting through the matrix. Check it out. We'll blow your mind. We'll blow your wig. Truth, they don't want Black America to feel at home in this country. They don't want that way they can continuously to push this racial agenda and this racial discourse. That way racism can exist in this country. This is the reason why it does. Andrew Eagle, thank you. Live Free or Die, thank you. Shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to you guys. Again, this was And I had to let you know again that there was a. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I want to thank everybody for the calls or for people that tried to call. And with that being said, enjoy your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay American.